When I was almost 30 years old, I kind of came to a standstill. It felt very toxic. I was on the back end of a failed marriage and I had a bunch of little girls. I felt toxic in the way that I was struggling with so much doubt and insecurity. I continuously found myself in relationships. I had a bad relationship with my boss, and I was a really hard worker, and I'd had a lot of success prior to this, but this is just kind of where I was. As I said, was on the back end of a failed marriage. So at almost 30, I had 3 little girls and a failed marriage. Some of my friendships had become unhealthy. There was a lot going on, in a lot of infighting in my family, and I just kind of felt like I was losing my grip on life. I was starting to feel hopeless, and in that moment of hopelessness, I reached out to a woman I saw in a magazine and sent her an email and said, "Hey, I need a mentor. You seem really positive. I like what I read about you, and I just need someone to help me." Now, hindsight 2020, I was probably not the ideal person to be mentored by her. And in fact, I've never laid eyes on her in real life. No Zoom calls. I've never shook her hand, never met her. But I reached out to her and she said yes. She wanted to mentor me, so I was very surprised. The first thing that she did was probably the most life-changing thing that she did. She asked me a lot of questions. She was a mother. She had several children, so it's like she had that motherly instinct. So she asked me a lot of questions. I answered them, and then she gave me this long list of affirmations, and she said, "Go somewhere quiet tonight. Read through the affirmations out loud, and if there's one that triggers you, makes you mad, or makes you cry, that's probably a clue as to what you're dealing with." So as I'm combing through this list of affirmations, I come across an affirmation that says, "I was made to love and be loved." And I just started bawling. And that's when I realized I didn't think I was lovable. At this age, at almost 30 years old with 3 daughters, I didn't think I was lovable. So I knew that that was something I had to rectify within myself. I didn't want my daughters to grow up like that. I didn't want them to be like me. But I also had a relationship with God. I had been seeking God since I was very young. So it was very natural for me to well, if I believe in a creator, then that means I was created with intention. And if I was